Wooden crates and ladders, perfect for games like Dungeons and Dragons and Mordheim. That's this week on Tabletop Witchcraft. Hey there, and welcome back to Tabletop Witchcraft. As promised, I'm going to dive into some simpler, more easy crafts here on the channel, starting with these ladders and crates. I'm going to show you how to maximize detail even on tiny little crafts like this to make for an even more immersive experience on your game table. Alright, if you're ready, let's go grab some supplies and let's get crafting. So I burned the Thieves Guild candle by Firelight Fables Candle Company for this video. If you want to help support my channel, visit them and get 10% off your entire order using TWC10 at checkout. There'll be a link in the description below. Now for the crates in this video, we're going to be using balsa wood. And to get all of the planks for the crates super quick and easy, I hot glued a bunch of finish nails together and just used those to scrape the planks right into a large sheet of balsa wood. Alright, now balsa wood cuts really easy with a pair of scissors or an X-Acto knife. What we want to do is basically wrap this foam block in the balsa wood. And I did quite a few of these. You'll see in just a little bit. Man, I think I made probably 30 or 40 crates in this video. And, you start to get a little bit of a knack for, the easiest way of making these when you make that many. I found that doing opposite sides like you just saw there and then doing the other alternate sides after kind of wraps the wood a little bit better so you don't have an overlapping effect that doesn't look natural. All of these little tiny scraps, you're going to want to save those. They make absolutely awesome scatter filler if you're going to make some scatter terrain later on. Mordheim is something I really want to get into, and I can definitely see myself using a ton of this stuff. So right here is the balsa wood that I used. I went to balsa strips. I initially made them out of the flat boards, but found that obviously just buying these strips pre-cut already really sped up the process. If you're enjoying this video and my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Now for the smaller crates, I didn't bother adding any wood around the perimeter. You don't need it. These look great, and to scale they look perfect, just like that. Again, made a handful of those, and then a handful of the larger ones as well. Now this is why the foam interior is important, because now we can take an X-Acto, cut some corners out, have some crates that are destroyed, and just carve out a hollow area, and now you can fill those crates with whatever you want and just have some cool stuff kind of pouring out of them. Now to paint these up, you can spend some time, priming them and then, painting them brown or whatever. Here, I just used the wood stain that I used in my Floating Islands video and just dunked all of these crates right in that. You let them dry for maybe, 5 or 6 minutes and then go back with a paper towel, real rough, and dry them. Now you'll notice on the crate, wherever I had tacky glue, it didn't really stain well. There is glue that you can use that stains, but honestly, once you add this gray dry brush over the crate and then a heavy black wash, you really want to let that soak into the wood. You can't see any of those marks. So I wouldn't waste your time getting any special glue. A quick dry there with the hair dryer. And then for some of the crates, I just cracked the wood a little bit to add some cool little details and some aging effects to them. Alright, now we're jumping over to the ladders. Now these are going to be things that miniatures are going to be climbing on or across from building to building when I finally start playing Mordheim. And so I didn't want to go with balsa wood, it's too fragile. Here we're using basswood. You can find this pretty much in the same places you're going to find your balsa wood. Now once you have the lengths of the ladder cut out, this part right here is pretty much, I guess, the most important part of this whole thing is you want to make sure that you have the knife going into the wood pretty straight on each cut. That way the wood sits flush in the ladder. All right, now for the rungs that go across the ladder, I didn't cut all the way through. I just cut a little bit into a smaller piece of basswood, and then I break them all just like that. It gives a nice rough edge to the ladder. I got to get my mindset where jumping into Mordheim, not everything has to be perfect. I am very particular when I craft, and in Mordheim, things are destroyed and ruined, and it's okay for things not to be perfect. So keep that in mind when you're crafting. The tacky glue, as you can see, sets this up really nice. This only was on there for maybe about an hour, and it's already solid enough and glued in nice and tight where I can now take a Dremel tool with just two tools you need, this wire brush, and then whatever this other bit is here, I'm going to show you in a second, to really rough these up. Really get in there, gouge it out, make sure you wear eye protection, and this is really a fun part of the build. Alright, now as before, we're just going to dunk these into our wood stain. And we're going to do the exact same painting method that we did with the crates for the ladder. I found this adds a really nice aged, kind of defunct look. And I really like this color pattern. Alright, now using a little territorial beige color, I'm going to color up some butcher's twine. Now, butcher's twine by itself is too thick to represent rope in this scale, so you got to separate it into about 3 separate strips. It can be a little tricky because it's woven together, but not hard to do. And just use a glove and some paint on your fingers, wiping that right into the twine, and you're all set. And I definitely recommend, if you're going to make these crates and the ladders, to get yourself set up with enough materials to make, maybe half a dozen ladders and maybe 30 or 40 boxes while you're at it, because it becomes kind of almost muscle memory after a while because you're making so many of them. It's fairly easy and fun to do, and it's just a great craft for D&D, or like I said, Mordheim, which I'm really excited to start building some really fun crafts for that here on the channel. And with that, these are all set and ready for the game table. So you've been hearing me hint throughout the video about Mordheim. Now, about a month ago, Gerard Boom of Shifting Lands and David from Terraintronics came to visit me. We spent about 3 or 4 days of crafting, had a lot of fun together, and I came up with this idea to recreate this chapel here in town. And we did that, and throughout the process of making it, we got the idea of let's build it, then destroy it for a game like Mordheim. So David is always trying to add electronics to all of his crafts. He comes up with some really great ideas, and when he was here, he said, why don't we make some warp stone or weird stone markers for a Mordheim table? Well, we never really got around to making those, but don't worry, I'm going to make them here on the channel in the near future. But that got me really thinking about, what the next evolution is in gaming here, just in my house with my friends and when we play. You see, about a month and a half ago, we lost my brother to med school. So he was our DM, and I wish him the best of luck. Bro, I love you. Best of luck out there. I know you're going to crush it. But, we lost him to that. So now we got to find another game to play. I used to DM. I don't really feel like DMing. I got a lot going on with the channel. So we figured, why not play Mordheim? All the guys are excited to play it. They're all digging into which warbands they want. It's just up to me to create a 4-foot by 4-foot gaming table now for that. So I've got a whole table layout already designed, and it's looking really awesome. If you haven't seen MS Terrain Lab, check him out on Instagram and YouTube as well. I ran the idea past him. He absolutely loved the idea. I'm hoping to pull him in on one of these videos as well. Now, if you want to help support the channel, please consider visiting me over on Patreon. There's a lot of really great tiers over there. The contractor tier gets you plans, which I'm hoping to have a set of plans for the chapel build here on the channel. There is the Coven, where you can hang out with me and ask questions on Facebook, or you can even join me live at night on Discord when I'm crafting. take a look at the tiers over on Patreon. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll find fun and enjoy. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. I'm excited to dive into the world of Mordheim. And until next time, I'll see you around.